Have you ever pondered about the nature of truth? Is it static, absolute and unchanging, or is it a process, shaped and molded by our experiences and actions? This, my friends, challenges traditional ways of thinking and offers a fresh perspective on truth and reality, such as the philosophy of pragmatism. Coined by philosopher Charles Sanders Peirce in the late 19th century, the term pragmatism was expanded upon significantly by the influential American thinker William James. In 1907, James wrote a noteworthy essay, Principles of Pragmatism, a new name for some old ways of thinking. Despite being an essay and not a typical book with chapters, it presents a unified argument that succinctly defines the essential concepts and principles of pragmatism. James introduces us to the practical consequences of beliefs and ideas, emphasizing them as the foundation for their truth or meaning. He challenges the notion of truth as an absolute entity, arguing instead that the truth of an idea can be judged by its practical effects and consequences. This perspective shifts the focus from a correspondence with an external reality to the usefulness and efficacy of ideas in guiding human conduct and understanding. So how can we interpret this in practical aspects? James introduces the pragmatic method for determining the truth or meaning of beliefs and ideas through the examination of their practical consequences. This approach indicates that truth is not static, but a process that unfolds through continuous questioning and experimentation. This shift in perspective doesn't imply that pragmatism is a radical departure from traditional philosophical methods. James contends that it's simply a new name for some old ways of thinking. First appearing in the journal Popular Science Monthly in 1907, Principles of Pragmatism has shaped the development of pragmatism as a philosophical movement. It emphasizes the critical role of practical consequences in determining the value of our beliefs and ideas, marking a lasting impact on philosophical thought. As introduced by William James, pragmatism provides a unique take on truth and reality. By emphasizing the practical consequences of beliefs and ideas, it proposes a dynamic, process-oriented view of truth. It suggests that our beliefs are tools for coping with reality, and their value lies in their effectiveness in guiding our actions and understanding. Rooted in traditional philosophical methods, this approach appears innovative, yet represents some old ways of thinking. Hence, when you come across your thoughts diving into the realm of truth, contemplate the attributes of pragmatism. This could potentially illuminate the often revisited philosophical queries with newfound insight. Principles of Pragmatism, a new name for some old ways of thinking, by William James extends far beyond the philosophical sphere. Not only did this seminal work introduce and elaborate on the principles of pragmatism, but it also continues to exert a profound influence on contemporary philosophy. Pragmatism's reach, however, extends beyond philosophy. The pragmatic approach advocated by James has found applications in a wide array of disciplines, including psychology, sociology, political science, and education. This broad applicability speaks volumes about the versatility and enduring relevance of pragmatism. Moreover, pragmatism's emphasis on experimentation and empirical inquiry aligns closely with the modern scientific methodology, making it a valuable philosophical perspective in the scientific world. Pragmatism also offers a problem-solving perspective that is incredibly relevant in our times, especially in addressing contemporary challenges and dilemmas. Finally, the principles of pragmatism continues to spark scholarly interest. It is studied and discussed by philosophers, scholars, and students interested in the history of philosophy, American philosophy, and, of course, pragmatism itself. Its enduring influence on philosophical thought, its interdisciplinary applications, and its problem-solving perspective on contemporary issues make it a highly valuable work. Voiceover. William James's work, Principles of Pragmatism, a new name for some old ways of thinking, has made quite a mark. However, it's not without its detractors. We'll dive into some of these viewpoints. First on the list, epistemological issues. Critics suggest that James's focus on the practical consequences of beliefs as the basis for truth disregards reality's correspondence. They propose that truth isn't just about practicality, but relies on factual accuracy. Moving on, there's the issue of vagueness. Scholars have pointed to a lack of clarity and precision in James's writing style in Principles of Pragmatism. They suggest that his thoughts can be elusive, complicating critical engagement with his arguments. The next point involves metaphysical implications. Detractors have voiced worries about pragmatism's effect on our comprehension of reality. They maintain that its focus on practical outcomes could foster a relativistic perspective of reality that undermines objective truth. There are also ethical and political critiques. Some have voiced worries about pragmatism being used to justify unethical actions if they yield practical benefits. There's also concern about its potential misuse to back oppressive political regimes if they are seen as functional for those in power. Lastly, the question of methodology. Critics have doubted the adequacy of James's pragmatic method for determining truth and solving philosophical disputes. They suggest that this approach can oversimplify complex philosophical matters. In wrapping up, it's evident that principles of pragmatism has contributed significantly to philosophy. However, the work has also sparked debates on its various implications. These discussions have led to the ongoing refinement of pragmatic ideas within the philosophical community, demonstrating the dynamic and evolving nature of philosophical discourse. Voiceover, let's journey halfway around the globe to a place you might not expect: Nepal. Can William James's principles of pragmatism find a foothold here, particularly in addressing social, political, and developmental dilemmas? Let's delve into it. First, the problem-solving approach. Pragmatism's focus on practical consequences aligns well with the need for solutions to Nepal's pressing issues, such as poverty, inequality, and environmental challenges. By focusing on practical outcomes, it encourages us to seek solutions that work in the real world. Next, adaptability to context. With its emphasis on context and experience, this principle resonates with the diverse cultural, geographical, and social contexts of Nepal. It encourages us to adapt our approaches to the unique circumstances and experiences of different communities. Then, ethical considerations. Pragmatism's potential to justify unethical actions if they produce practical benefits has been criticized. However, it also emphasizes ethical deliberation in decision-making, a crucial factor where issues of corruption and social justice are prominent. On to political dialogue and collaboration. The focus on dialogue and collaboration as a means of resolving disputes could bring a constructive influence to Nepal's political landscape. And finally, educational reforms. Learning through experience, a key facet of pragmatism, could influence educational reforms, driving a shift away from rote learning towards more experiential, student-centered approaches. Despite the principles of pragmatism being developed in a different context, they show potential for tackling the challenges faced by countries like Nepal, alluding to the cross-cultural and universal applicability of pragmatic principles in our increasingly interconnected world.